Are you guys ready to get out of the Matrix? Let's go.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
The Texas court system works, and I trust the Texas court system will work in this case.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pissed Off Parents Show. I have got special guest Robert the Man Garza here. Everybody give Mr. Garza a huge round of applause. Actually, Robert, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Can't complain. Just enjoying that Sunday. Got a 3-day weekend. One of the lucky folks that is able to have a three-day weekend thanks to the sacrifices of the folks that tomorrow is all about. The better half and I will be going to more of their Rotary friends and doing some events there. But I'm enjoying the weekend. Still a little sore from the honeydew. I shouldn't say it that way. The honeydew list. Doing things for the wife.
Honeydew list.
The car and stuff. I'm trying to figure out how not to say that and not make it sound inappropriate, but there's really no way, no saving that one. But I am doing good. Wanted to bring you on here and actually do a celebration here. I don't want to give too much of it away, but we'll of course jump into it. I guess Robert, let's kind of dive into why today is a celebratory day for you and for all of Texas.
Oh, thanks. The time taken, time back bill that we created, whatever, was Angela Paxton yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
In the was it yesterday or today's Sunday. Sorry, my days are blurring together. Yesterday had sent the bill to it had passed all the House, all the Senate.
Everything.
Went back and forth, bounced around, everything. It was unopposed in the House and the Senate. There were no nays against it. It's such a pretty bill, I think. And anyway, so yesterday it was got sent on to the governor's desk. So
awesome.
That's a big deal.
That is, huge. So for those that are tuning in, may not be familiar with the channel, kind of what we're talking about here, this is specifically for Texas, but, I guess I don't want to make you commit to anything, but this could be a launching pad for the other 49, but, that's, to be determined. But what this bill is, what was happening before this bill was that when parents would keep their child from the other parent, I think it's due to it's just like CPS or try to do the silver bullet or whatever that is. They would keep the kid away from it, and you'd have to go to court. Well, after they missed the summer break, the Christmas break, the whatever date it is, the judge would say, well, yep, that's pretty bad. Slap the wrist and then send them on their way. Well, that parent missed out on Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever that timeline was. Robert said, you know what, not right, and set about to make a change, make that fix that glitch, as it were, and work through a lot of stuff. I mean, you can go into a lot more detail on that than I can.
Yeah.
Many hours and all that, but fix the glitch to where now when mommy or daddy keeps the kid from the other parent, say for Christmas break, the judge shall, as I understand the language in there, the judge shall, not may, but shall give that other parent back that time. So instead of they lose Christmas one year, well, they get that Christmas back the next year. Then they get their normal whatever. I think that's the way the bill.
Correct. Yeah, you'll
was
end
done.
up getting 2 Christmases in a row, basically, is what happens. Because if they hijack your holidays, then they will not only, and they usually do it on yours. So the next Christmas that comes up is yours, and then the next Christmas after that is yours too.
Wow, that's
So it's the same kind of time also. So if they hijack your holiday, you get their holiday. If they hijack your weekend, then you get their weekends, or or weekdays or whatever that is.
wow. So, like, what? I guess keeping with the pissed off parent theme here, and I'm assuming that's how it started. But what made you do it? I mean, what
So
made you go? You know what? I'm done with this crap.
yeah, so I went through, and I'll just try to hopefully give you the short version of this. So I went through a 10 to 12 year custody battle from start to finish. It was not good at all. False allegations, one silver bullet could literally end up, you not having your kids till they're 18. It could alienate you with just one false allegation. You could literally end up in jail or in prison, depending on the allegation. So I went through 43 of these, and not once.
Damn.
Yeah.
43. You're like Neo in that one scene where he's like dodging all the bullets and bending
Right.
over and all that. I would lean back and then my belly will show, and that no one wants to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I can talk about it now, but when you're going through it, these dads and moms that go through these false allegations, it's not good at all. It's stress like you wouldn't believe. A lot of people can't take it. A lot of parents do commit suicide, and some parents even end up killing the other parent and taking their own lives in the extreme parts. So to do away with these allegations is huge. And the other thing that people should know is that CPS supposedly protects children and stuff like that. It's an agency that's out there. Anybody can make an allegation to them or file a report, and they'll look into it. Now, a lot of people don't know that only 16% out of 100% of all cases of CPS, only 16% of those have reason to believe that are founded in truth, and they found something wrong there.
1-6, like
16%, yeah.
1-6. Wow,
Yeah.
that's insane.
So that means 85% of these are retaliatory,
Right.
used in divorce. A lot of these are used in divorces. In fact, the first thing that CPS asks you whenever you call them is they're like, okay, is this family going through a custody battle? Why is that the number one thing that they ask? Well, because 85% of these are unfounded, right? So, or they're just what do you call it?
Complete BS.
Yeah, pretty much. I was going to be nice, but okay.
Yeah.
So, in my case, my ex never had made a direct CPS report herself. What she ended up doing was going through third parties. It was by proxy.
Right.
Now, the reason that I didn't want to tell people how this worked, because now it will not work. So now you can try it, but it's not going to work. But so what she ended up doing was she would go to a mandatory reporter, report that I'm starving and dehydrating him, right? That's how it kind of started out first. And then CPS would make a report, so that mandatory reporter would make a report because they're by law they have to, because you're reporting child abuse.
Right.
And then my ex would take that report, run to court, and say, Judge, there's a professional that made open CPS against my ex. I need a protective order, restraining order. 100% of the time, the judge would rule, to take the kids away or supervised visits.
Right.
Well, that would take 30 to 60 to 90 days to
Find out it was BS.
Yeah. By that time, you're being supervised for all these hours or whatever. I was spending $1,000 a week just being able to see my kids, because I'm like, okay, you know what? You want to do this? I'll take the kids, $1,000 a week to supervisors sitting there watching me put up my kids 8 hours a day. Anyway,
All right.
so there was a loophole because mandatory reporter didn't feel like they were doing anything wrong because they're mandatory to do it. CPS didn't feel like they were doing anything wrong because they had to investigate if somebody opened an investigation. The judge didn't feel like they were doing anything wrong because they were protecting the child, supposedly.
Right. Yeah. Best interest of the child. Yeah.
Right. So right now, perjury is a state jail felony. Nobody abides by it. There hadn't been a person in 15 years in Texas or the U.S. that in family court
In family
that's ever
court.
been thrown in jail. Family court.
Right.
That's ever been thrown in jail for this. Now, and all those laws are changing too, so I wouldn't try it if I were you.
Yeah.
So there's so many laws that are changing right now; it's unreal. But I think it's great because, and it's because of the parents like me and you all out there hearing this, why the laws are changing, because your voices do matter. So what I came up with was, after this kept happening, we didn't know how it was happening because CPS is they redact their, if you subpoena the documents, they redact them. Now, here's a little piece of gold if you are going through this. If you get a home study and a judge can get unredacted copies. When a home study does it, you can subpoena those copies.
Right.
There you go. There's a loop around. And it's crazy how many loop arounds there are about all this stuff that there is. And anyway, so we're getting off track. So I found that so the law was already there for, throwing a parent in jail for, making a false allegation. But the way it was done, it was through a third-party proxy. Now, the only way to fix this was to change the law that you take the incentivization out of making the allegation. So when my ex goes and reports, or somebody reports that child's being hurt, they're going to take the child away. But when they do, the time now in Texas is going to be returned to that parent. So they always return the child to me every time. The problem is that every time we ask for the time back, the judge is like, well, it's water under the bridge. Let's just move forward.
No big deal.
Yeah, we did it on, we just did it on precaution to protect the child.
Right. 43 times.
Yeah,
right.
Let's just move forward. So every time, so then after my attorney, Brad Nace, he really pinned the judge on it. It's like, hey, look, this time needs to be returned, and really pushed. The judge was like, okay, you know what? We'll save it for final trial. Final trial came 10 years later.
Yeah.
So all these games are being played all the
Kids
time.
graduating college,
Yeah. I mean, I spent to date over $700,000 just being able to fight off false allegations, to be able to see my kids. I have joint custody now, so we're good there. I'm seeing them. We've been out of court 2 years now. That we've been out of court, I can talk about this. It's not, it's not going to affect anything. This bill does not affect me. I could have retroed it, but that would have caused people to stop. Yeah. It would have stopped up the court system by everyone trying to come get their time back, and that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to clean up the court systems, clean up CPS, because the biggest travesty to all this is that, 43 times me and my family went through this. But a bigger travesty is that there were children really being hurt, that CPS really could have had those resources go to them. And that's what I wanted to clean up and figure out how to clean the system up. So the time taken, time back bill will give those resources back to CPS. It'll give the resources back to the court system. It'll give it back to the district attorney's office, because at the same time, because the allegations, I was being investigated by CPS and the district attorney's offices in two
that area.
2 areas, yeah.
Right.
Because of the allegations. Again, all of them came back negative, ruled out.
Right.
We're done. And so, but the judge never returned the time while we were in court here in Collin County. Now, the judge had the discretion to be able to return the time.
Oh, yeah.
We asked to return the time, and in final trial, again, just totally ignored, just like, no big deal. Let's just move forward. Here, you get more time than you ever had now. You have joint custody, but I'm going to not return 3 years of your life that you could have had with your children.
Well, this is
So,
also gonna, when the guy or the girl, let's keep this, gender neutral, but it's gonna make that parent think twice about doing this.
oh,
Because
100%.
before they're like, oh, I file a CPS charge. They don't care that that's more tax dollars, more resources being taken away from actual abuse charges. They're just caring about themselves. But now, when they hopefully it's going to be put into the SOPs when they call CPS, that if this is found to be just like the 85-86% that are found to be false, by the way, guess what? The judge will be ordered to give Christmas back to the other parent. So keep
Correct.
filing, knock yourself out,
Yeah.
but this is what's going to happen. There's no wiggle room here.
Correct. And there's other organizations and stuff like that working on. So right now, it is a state jail felony to commit perjury. So when you submit an affidavit and try taking someone's kids away, be very careful because laws are changing very quickly. So
Well,
I wouldn't try it if I were you.
There's another one that's changing here pretty shortly, the 2503 custody custodial interference. For the folks out there that, and I can't imagine any of them listening in, but you never know. But in the olden days, that 2503 jail felony, where if you keep the kids from the other parent during the court order time, you would then go to jail for, I think, 5 years, get a $10,000 fine, blah, 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 which I always refer to as the Diet Coke of state jail felonies. Well, now, through a number of different groups' efforts, they're now going to, it's by, not county, but by police department. It's may, not shall, and hopefully that'll change soon, but they may impose a fine of $500, I believe.
Yeah, it's
Is that-
$500 for every infraction that you do. So before, if you call it, like if I would call the cops and say, hey, she didn't show whatever,
Right.
we would do like a welfare check and go to their house and they were there, but they would never remove the kids to give them to me, even though I had a court order.
Right.
So now, every time you call, if you're supposed to have them on Friday, call the cops.
$500.
$500. You're supposed to have them on Saturday, call the cops again. There's another 1,000. You want to keep them on my Sunday too? Call them again. There's $1,500 that it's going to cost you now just for playing games with someone, with the children's time. I mean, because basically that's what it is. You hate your other partner more than you love your kids.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
And it's going to be money that goes to the county, not to your ex-partner. And we all know how the county
They're gonna want
loves
that
their
money.
money. Oh yeah, this is going to be you thought the camera lights and all that stuff, those things were a moneymaker. This will be a moneymaker for them. They're not going to say no to it.
Yep.
Yep.
And
They
it's a
need
good
new
thing.
boots.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because parents
Yeah.
should be playing, keep away
Yeah.
with their kids. So,
Yeah. So
And if
yeah,
it's-
this bill. Oh, go ahead.
and if it's a real allegation, if you're really trying to protect them, then $500 shouldn't matter to you.
Exactly. And again, if you go to court and you find out that, and the judge is able to determine with reason, because that's how this bill's written, that there is reason for that, meaning the 16% of the time it is valid, then yeah, you're not going to get charged. I can't imagine getting charged the $500 and all
Right.
that for each incident. I mean, that it's not put there for that. It's for when you play the games of keeping the kid away from the other parent to be a D-bag. I mean,
Right.
I'll
And
be
that's
pretty
another
blunt
bill.
about it.
That's not my bill. That's another.
Yeah, that's a whole other one. But those two are, when you were talking about changes coming down in the legislature this session, those are, yours is a big one. That's a big one. There's changes coming that's
Yep.
going to start righting the wrongs that a lot of parents in Texas specifically have been facing for decades. So
Yes.
change is happening.
It's happening very fast. So if you think you're going to do these same things or play games, good luck because it's changing very fast. If you try it, you may end up on the receiving end.
Yeah, it's not going to end well for you. And I don't know if you want to jump into this now or kind of wait a little bit. I just kind of feel you out on that. But so this took you spending what $1 million. You got like 100,000 people to go down there and badger everybody. How did that work out? How did you make this happen?
No.
Okay.
So the way I was able to get the bill done is I had to come up with a bill first.
Right.
And then once that bill was done, I took it to my state senator, Angela Paxton, and I had her look at it, and she thought it was an amazing bill. Like, she's just like, "Are you a lawyer?" I was like, "No, I just went to family court." I know a lot about law now. Like,
Yeah.
I
It's like
700,000.
we should get like a law degree. Anyone that's been divorced that, pro se's or goes into this thing, at some point we should probably just get a law degree.
Yeah.
Just because of, what life experience. They give life experience degrees out for other areas. They should do one for law. Anyway,
Right?
sorry.
No, it's fine. Or you could just go to California, take the bar, and just pass it, and then
There you go.
Pro Hawk beat you in on someone else's license. And the fact that I know all that, and even the name of it is
It's scary, isn't it?
yeah.
It's just crazy. Yeah.
So, uh,
So you drafted the bill.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I was persistent. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I talked to my House representative. I talked to Jeff Leach about it. He kind of just like, I don't know. I went to Angela Paxton. She saw it right away and was like, "Wow, this is an amazing bill." And so when she took it, she's just like, her whole team was amazing. Lauren Carr from it, she was amazing. There was like a whole team of people that, Laura Carr, sorry, not Lauren, Laura Carr.
Laura.
Yeah, she was amazing on their team. There were several other people, like her whole office is amazing. So if you want to change something and you know how to change it, go talk to your state senators. I guarantee you, I think in Texas, there's maybe 31 state senators, something like that. Now, House representatives are different. I think there's 150 House representatives.
Right.
Before all this started, I had no clue about this stuff. Eric Carroll and I, with Dad Talk Today, we thought we could change the system by educating people. And we went to, I think, 35,
43 states,
35.
I heard. Yeah,
Huh?
I heard 40. I don't know if it's that fishing number or when I tell girls about my dating experience, but yeah, that number grows all the time. I think it's like 42 was the official number, 42, 45.
Yeah, so I was with Eric with most of the states,
Mm.
and then he went on and did a couple of more states after because I had to get home. Whenever my kids are home, I was like, "Look, I'll go anywhere you want, but I gotta come
Kids are
home
number
when I
one.
have my kids." Yeah, I mean, I didn't fight all this time to just be gone, and
Right.
so I had to fly home while my kids were here, and then I would fly back out and do whatever. So
Right.
I think I went with him about 34, 35 states,
Okay.
and we went to different states, asked constituents to be there, testified in front of judiciary committees in
Yep.
different states about these same laws, about 50-50, about false allegations, all this stuff. Yeah. And so we went and knocked on all the state senators' doors, House representatives in all these states, if they weren't having session right then or whatever. So anyway, so we thought that was the way to do it. And that really, it got us some things. We were able
Right.
and then we went to CPAC and thought, okay, maybe that would do it. We met with all these, high up officials. So we thought, okay, you know what? Let's go meet with Trump. Maybe Trump can do something for us. That didn't either because he can't change the law.
Right.
Eric and I didn't know anything about the judicial system to change laws or how bills work or anything else. And so after meeting Trump and everything else, we came here and I sat down and with my state senator, gave her the bill. She submitted it, and Cook in the House of Representatives, he sponsored another bill exactly like the one in the Senate, and so together they were able to work together and get my bill through.
So you sat down like what, March 30th of this year and decided to start talking about it, like right when they were in the middle of the session. You planned it way beforehand.
Before session even started.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about like
I'm being facetious.
December, January.
Yeah.
Yeah, December, January is when Angela and I had our first meeting, and then
Before things started getting crazy in her
Mhm.
world.
Yep. And then I just checked in on it, see how it was doing. Do you need me to come up? I can come train your team. What do you need from me? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, I was on it. Like once every week, every 2 weeks, I was either in Austin, a phone call, an email, or knocking on the door. Literally knocking on the door. So your state senators and your House representatives, they have offices. Go knock on the doors. Go visit them. The easiest way to do it is right now while they're in session. You can, if they don't want to meet with you, whatever, you can literally sit outside their door and wait for them to come in after session or in between for lunch or whatever, and just stop them right there. I don't know how many people I did this year to talk about my bill. I just waited by their office until they were coming in, going out, or catch them in the hallway.
Yeah, when you were doing that, was there anyone that kind of gave you the like, what is this, or were they all? Was everyone just really supportive of the bill?
Everyone was pretty supportive. I even talked to, so I didn't mention Dad Talk. I didn't mention any of the other groups or anything
Right.
else because I wanted them to know that I was a parent that was affected by this. I
Right.
wasn't out there doing someone's agenda. I was there for
For you.
parents and children.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that went way better than trying to say, oh, I'm with this group or that group, or I have 500,000 followers, because I could have thrown that around. Dad Talk has
Yeah.
over 500,000 by themselves just on Facebook and then other platforms. But I didn't do that. That wasn't my agenda. I wanted to go in as a parent that had been affected by this, that I really wanted to make a change.
So you got educated on it. Well, it sounds like baptism by fire, and then but you got gained more knowledge. I mean, learned stats about the 86% false allegations. Sat down, drafted the bill, learned the process as much as you could with the available tools, and then went in there as an individual and said, "I want to change this. I'm a constituent. Let's get this done."
Yes. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And that's anybody. Anybody can do it. And
Anybody.
let me tell you something. It's very scary. Very, very scary. I'm here to tell you, my heart was racing while I was testifying in front of the Senate, or even like getting the courage up to go talk to your state senator. But these are your children. There is nothing more precious than your children. And so when something is at risk, not just, I was already out of court. So at this point,
It didn't
here's the
impact
other
you.
part. Yeah. So here's the other part. So even the judge gave me joint custody and whatever else. She messed up on some other stuff. Like it was over 100 days that she took to even rule on the case. She didn't know. She kind of just threw stuff in there, blanketed. She totally forgot. She was ruling on stuff that neither of us asked for, which is against the rules. She can't do that, but she did. Now I could have appealed it, and that would have cost me another 50 to 100,000, and that would have only affected my case. Now, all you parents that are listening, listen to this reasoning.
Listen in.
So it would have cost me another 50 to 100 to appeal it, or and go to a higher court, an appellate court, and turn it over, and it would have been turned over because on the technicalities that my judge did.
Right.
And even just one, right? So you can overturn it if it's black and white. So just off that one thing that she did right then, she ruled on stuff that neither of us asked for. That's totally a no-no. That means she didn't really even know the case, or even just didn't really care and just kind of threw a ruling out there. But so instead of spending that money and that time and putting my children and my family back in court again, I decided to just go forward. And the other thing is, I mean, I could have sued my ex too because now we figured out in court how she did the false allegations.
Right.
And that would have put my family and my children back in court again, and me. I didn't want any of that. I just needed the law to change for everybody. That way this wouldn't happen again. And so for free, I went and talked to my state senator and was able to get a bill, and now it's going to the governor's desk to pass.
Wow.
For free. I didn't have to spend another $100,000. The sad part, it doesn't affect me or my family.
Right.
It will affect everyone out there and their own families.
29 million Texans. I took account. There's 29 million Texans out there. This is going to positively impact the children of those 29 million Texans from here on out. So,
Correct.
I had to put something together, and I had to do something for this. It's who I am. But I wanted to, thank you, and again for the folks out there listening. I mean, my youngest is 17. I have him 100% of the time. I mean, this bill doesn't impact me, but I am thankful for the work and the time and the perseverance and all the things that you did in order to get this across the finish line. I mean, hell, the 4 hours each way. How many times? I don't know how many times. How many times did you drive to Austin?
Every couple of weeks,
4
every
hours.
week, every other week, something like that. But I would leave here at 4 in the morning. I wouldn't even go to sleep until like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning because I'm trying to prepare speeches to go up there. And while I'm up there with your help and everybody else's, like, I mean, throwing all these things around and all these bills, while I was up there, I was still testifying against like, these other bills that are bad or testifying for the bills that are good. And it seemed like it really helped. With everybody's, all the advocates and everybody else. And so it's really like a small family when you get into this stuff and you start realizing what's going on. But all parents can really make a change if you just look at the bills that they have and go up there and testify and be very smart about it. Just don't go up there and be like, I don't like this bill. That's it. It doesn't work like that. Like, you got to literally be up there and give bullet points on why yes and why no. But yeah, I would leave here at 4 a.m., get there at 8 a.m., change in my car real quick, run into the Capitol because you have to sign up for the bill. Then you have to sit and wait. Then the House, yeah, you have to wait and wait and wait. There would be days that I would be there until 2 o'clock in the afternoon and still no sessions were going because they were having to finish in the House before they would come in to have a session. And then it would be 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And then I would be leaving to get 4 hour drive. It was exhausting, but well worth it because while I was there, I didn't really waste a lot of time. I was still talking to while there was other people that were not in session that I could go talk to state representatives or Senate or people like that, or even advocates or meeting new ones that I've never even met and stuff like that. So it was a very, very good productive day while I was there.
While you were there, yeah. All right, well, I want, again, tribute. I made a video for you, a little tribute here for, again, all the work that you've done. Hope you appreciate it. Done in pissed off parent style, so we fire this up and see what you think there. While so many others are living in their tunneled vision world and pursuing various life distractions, after being beat down by the anti-family court matrix, one man said, "Enough is enough." Robert Garza decided to turn his pain into purpose and set about changing the world for his and everyone else's children. Sacrificing his own selfish desires, he set about to create a law to allow wrong parents to take time back. In the Senate, he worked with Angela Paxton. After countless meetings and trips to Austin, he was finally successfully able to pass the bill through the Senate. And in the House with David Cook, turning his pain into purpose. Robert has shown all of us that one drop, one person can make a difference. Thank you, Robert, for all that you have done.
Thank you.
Well,
it doesn't, seeing a little journey, it just makes me feel all, like some of those pictures and stuff.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the emotion chips clicked in. Look out, man.
Okay.
You've been, you know what? I mean, for the folks out there, this guy has been 43 investigate. This guy's been put through hell and back. He has sacrificed so much of his own time fighting for his kids, fighting for your kids, fighting for people that he'll never meet. I mean, there's going to be little Bobby, little Susie that's going to go through this, and some parents going to be sitting there going, what the hell can I do? And they're not, I mean, they should have called the Robert Garza bill to at least, give you some street cred for that, but they're not going to ever have to go through what your kids had to go through. I mean, that is I wish people understood that is a huge accomplishment. You have done so much for the families of Texans, and I mean, again, not to tell you what to do next, but I mean, I'd love to see it national. I mean, that there's going to be kids out there today and in the future not having any clue who you or your kids or your family or any of this stuff, and they're going to benefit from it. That's the reality of this. So,
You know,
I mean,
one of the sorry about that. I just
oh no,
sometimes
no.
it just all floods in.
It hits. You've been put
Yeah.
through hell and back, dude. I mean, four in the morning. Having, I mean, for the guys out there, he would actually put my podcast in and listen to it. So if that's not hell on earth, I don't know what is. But he would, drive weekly, and then of course all the emotional stuff. And well, you had described it before when you sat there and gave your testimony and talked about the bill. You had the eyes of Texas on you that entire time.
It was not easy to do it because I got choked up. If you watch the video, you can see me. I mean, I did okay. I was reading. In fact, I had typed everything you saw, like literally 5 minutes. I had just finished typing it as they called my name, and I'm like, whew. So I get up there because I thought I was just going to go up there and talk about it. And I was like, okay. So then I started thinking what I was going to talk about, and I had amnesia, and I was like, oh no, I can't do this up there because if I did, I only have 2 minutes to convince the Senate and the House on why they should pass this bill.
Right.
And if I got up there and froze or choked or whatever, and so I was typing this stuff out, and it was unreal. I mean, it's like an out-of-body experience or whatever. You can go back and watch the video. But as I'm reading from it, as soon as I mentioned the false allegations, just again, what happened just flooded.
What?
Like I couldn't. And at that moment, 100 things are going through your head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm watching this little timer on the desk, and every time I'm speaking, it's counting down, and I have this. I mean, I can literally hear it. It like time is going slow. And anyway, it was all flooding in. And then as I'm speaking, I'm like, wow, if this bill passes, when it passes, and I never really thought if, I knew it would always pass. Like the whole time that I was talking about the bill, I'm like, when it passes, when it passes, when it passes. I never really said if, and if I did, I corrected it. But the magnitude of what this bill does really set in while I'm giving the testimony. And I'm like, wow, like I'm literally, when this bill passes, it's going to affect children being hurt in CPS. It's going to give the resources back to them. It's going to unstop the court system with people waiting in line for holidays to holiday hijack. There won't be lawyers and stuff like that. It's still going to happen, a lot of this stuff, but this will really cut down on all the stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, 29 million Texans are going to be impacted positively by your efforts. Yeah. I mean, you were out of the system, but I mean, everything that you did was the acts that you did. There, it was trying to think of the word, like it's whatever that word is when you return the shopping cart to the the cart area. You get nothing from doing it.
Right. Yeah. No.
I mean,
there was nothing to gain myself from doing this other than trying to help parents that are going through this. And that's the other thing. So I help in the Dad Talk Today support group. Mm-hmm. And I know that people are going through this day in and day out. Now, any of you people that are out there and you've ever had your kids taken from you, it's not like your kids are going to the other parents for the weekend. It does not feel like that at all. No. I can tell you, it feels like you're grieving the loss of a living child, like that child is dead. You have no contact with them. You don't know what's going on with them. They're in your life. They're gone the next day. You pass by their rooms. It's empty. You're basically going through traumatic grief day in and day out. Yeah. And that's the parent going through that. I know what that feels like because I went through it. I can't put myself in my child or any child's shoes that loses a parent that has that parent every day, and then all of a sudden there's no contact. What it does, and actually there's statistics out now what it does to a children's psyche. It breaks them. It really, really breaks them. In fact, we had one psychologist say he'd rather a child be whipped with an electrical cord because those wounds heal. The emotional devastation that you're doing to a child by removing a parent out of their lives and a fit, willing, and able parent, right? Not just
Right.
a bad parent, but a fit, willing,
Right.
loving, able parent, that those wounds do not heal so quickly, and that child will end up in years and years and years and years of therapy, issues later on in life, everything.
No, we
You
see it
can
every
do
day
that
in
to your
the. Yeah, we see it on the nightly news. We see that in relationships. I mean, well, I'll talk my kids. It's going to be hard for them to form a bond with another person because they saw what someone that supposedly loves you can do to you, and they don't see the parent. They see the games, the back and forth. And the thing is when you call the other parent a moron or an idiot or whatever, that kid is half that other parent. You're
Right.
calling that kid a moron, an idiot. I mean, everything you're doing, the damage to these children. And again, that's another, with this time taken back bill, that's yet another thing they're gonna benefit. I mean, obviously, that those parents went through the breakup. The kids there's that damage that's going to happen. But this is going to heal that wound, make that wound a little bit better, I guess, because they're not going to then have extended periods of time without the kid. They're not going to have the supervised visitation
Right.
and all that. So, I mean, yeah.
So what this bill's going to do too, essentially, is it's going to be able to heal that bond that was broken with the time that was taken. You're going to give that time back. So it's going to be able to heal that wound of the child, of the parent, of that relationship. And that's why this bill is so important. It's because it's going to be able to repair the bond.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, when I was going through this, what I did do too, because I wanted to get a lot of people behind the bill, is that I also went to NAACP, I went to LULAC, ACLU, and the way that I was able to do that and convince them to get behind the bill very quickly was that, so I wrote this, I'm going to read it real quick, but it's only 2 paragraphs. So it says, this bill fixes a fundamental parental right that brings healing and allows a child-parent relationship bond to be rebuilt from the lost time that was taken only on by precaution by the court. So when I'm explaining it to them, when a court takes your parental right away on a precaution, that's actually that's a civil rights issue, first of all.
Yeah.
And if they're not returning the time, then that's a human rights issue and a civil issue. It's a civil rights issue and a human rights issue. And so they were like, whoa, what? Like, the court's not returning the time, that they're just taking on precaution? I was like, absolutely not. They have discretion. That's why this bill takes that away and returns the time.
Right.
That way there's no more time or your civil rights being stepped on by a court.
Wow. Pulled in some of the big guns, NAACP and some of the other groups. Wow, that's huge. So, and one of the things I just kind of wanted to really harp on is, again, you did this on your own. I mean, you didn't go in there with other groups, and you've experienced. Now, you didn't, when you were 18, you didn't go to law school, right? You weren't.
No.
You're not like the okay. So you don't have to be a lawyer. So you're were you like politician?
Nope.
No politician.
Restoring classic cars, and I had a car dealership before the divorce and stuff like that. So I was just buying and selling classic cars. I had a jewelry design business that I had previously before that too. Nothing to do with law, nothing to do with changing laws, politicians, nothing.
You're an everyday Joe. You were just a guy turning wrenches, trying to get your business, live your life, white picket fence, whatever your hopes and dreams were. The world turned upside down for you versus laying down. You said, you know what? No, not going to do it. That sounds like the story in a nutshell.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So
if I can do it, every parent out there can do it. I grew up poor. I grew up on food stamps. I grew up in an intact family. My mom and dad were together from the day I was born until the day my father died. And, I know what an intact family should look like. But what's going on out here in this world today, if somebody doesn't change what's going on, we're going to end up in a very, very dark place. Without strong families, you cannot have a strong nation.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to change a lot of these laws. And there's more laws that need to be changed. I am here from now until I take my last breath. I promise you, I will be here changing these laws so my kids won't have to go through this, their kids, my grandchildren, your grandchildren, everyone, and I'm going to take them on a national level too. I wanted to do the time taken, time back bill here in Texas simply because it was done to me and my family here, and I wanted to prove that it wasn't right what my judge did to us.
Right.
It could have this never would have went 10 years had this bill been enacted. It would have done, my ex maybe would have done it once or twice, not 43 plus times.
Right.
This never should have happened to my family, me, or anyone else.
Right. Okay. So, so it sounds like you are looking at national. I mean, and I don't want to get your playbook because I'm sure you're holding that a little close to the vest. If say there was some, I saw someone from New Hampshire's out there, or Illinois, or Ohio, or all the other 50 states, or even across the world. What can they do? I mean, I don't want to say, hey, reach out to Robert, because I mean, you gotta get your all your stuff going, figure out your playbook, and run with it. But what could they do?
Yeah.
Say some guys in Illinois, let's just pick on the Illinois folks, and the guys watching it and go, you know what, I'm gonna be that guy. What's step 1, 2, 3? What do they do?
So Texas is a big, it's a pretty big deal. It's a huge state. And so for us to get a bill passed here is amazing. Now, it's like I hear that buzzing.
That's not a good sound. Yeah, you might have some fun thunder bumper weather coming in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that in a minute. But yeah, so so like my time taken, time back bill, it's super easy. Just Google SB Sam Boy with 718, and then when you get it, you Google it, and then you take that copy to your state senator or your House representative, and you say,
Okay.
look, I want this to be enacted in my state, and this is why. And
Okay.
then you tell them what that covers and why that you need that bill, and this just passed in Texas, and then knowing that it just passed in Texas is another big issue. All the other states will follow if a big state has done it. So if this was done in California, a lot of states would follow it. Same thing, Texas. This is a massive win for families.
Yes.
And for any of you advocates, you can just take this bill as it's written and take it to your state legislators and incorporate it into your own laws. Now, if you want me to come speak, I will 100% come speak in your state to your state rep over FaceTime, Face Video, or whatever you want to do. I have no problem with that. I think getting these bills out in every state is a big thing. But I know that there are some people out there that want to do it on a federal level. So I don't know that route yet, but I'm about to find out.
Okay. All right. So they, I guess, wait until their session's over, find out who their constituent is. Get the bill, read up on it. The bill actually, on the if they Google, I put SB17 in the notes. They go to the Texas legislature. They can get that copy of the bill and some of the information there, and then read it, learn it, do some Googling, and then find their representative that's their constituent in their area, and then start those conversations. Get your playbook together, and then kind of start that process. Maybe reach out to you, to come speak there, or when it comes to that. But so I mean, at the end of the day, because you mentioned a few times, someone's got to do something. You got tired of someone being somebody else, because as you've learned, that someone it tends to be no one. You said, I'm that someone. I'm going to do it.
Right. And it's very and let me tell you, unless you're out of your own court case, I wouldn't try it. And let me tell you why, because I know you're passionate about it, and I was too. I approached my state legislators and stuff before I was out of court. They didn't want to listen to my bill at all, because if something would have came out in court if they would have got behind me and it looked bad, let's just say one of these allegations were true and they found out after they started the bill, they would look very bad. They don't want to do that. And so until you're out of court, have someone else that
friend or somebody.
Do the bill
anyone
or
can
something.
do it.
Right.
Okay.
Have them do it, or your family, right? So, but you're also going through trauma as you're going through this. you're not yourself. I promise you 100%. I look back and I'm like, whoa, like how I even got through this and whatever, like it's almost like,
Hand to God stuff.
yeah, like you, you are, I am so much more of a bigger person now that I've gone through that I've came out of it than I was going through it. Because while you're going through it, you're going through all kinds of emotions, trauma, um, you're worried about your kids and all kinds of stuff. You can't focus on something. And I'm so glad that I did wait until it was all over. That way, now I can say 100% I went through all these allegations. Not one I was ever arrested or found, arrested or jailed or anything else. Now, I could have been with any one of these things. I could have been
43.
jailed or imprisoned at any point. Man, I'm telling you, someone that hurts somebody and still goes back and, like, if someone was really doing something to their kid, you're not going to keep going back to court and say punish me again, like
Yeah.
this is bullshit. Like, don't. I mean, there's no way that someone would keep going through this. My love for my kids and family is more that it was more than any monetary, anything like that. And so when you start messing with people's families, it's and the courts know this. That's why you pay what you pay. I mean, you're willing to mortgage your house, your cars, spend all your money, go bankrupt, just to be with your family. So thank goodness there's bills like this and others coming in where you won't have to do any of those things to be able to get to where you are. Like I said, my process, if this bill would have been enacted, or even the other one that we talked about today, this would have been over in 6 months.
Right.
Not 10, 12
10
years.
years.
No way. But these two bills alone that are coming down the pipeline will take families out of court and hopefully reunite families and their kids, and they won't have traumatic stuff later on in life to have to deal with.
It'll help with it, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one last question to ask you, but before that, I wanted to kind of open the floor. Is there anything you want to talk about with the bill, the future, anything you got going on, anything at all before I wrap it up with my last question?
I mean, you can always go into the Dad Talk Today support group. So there's Dad Talk Today on Facebook, but there's Dad Talk Today support group. There's a bunch of advocates in there. We have lawyers that will answer some of your questions for free. Some people that do therapy.
Pro bono? Therapy?
Yeah, pro bono. Yep, they do pro bono too for therapy. If you're going through something, I can't tell you how many dads I spoke to, not just me, but the whole advocate in all platforms. How many dads out there and moms, and because this does happen to moms too, not as frequent, but more dads, but that are wanting to commit suicide at the point that we're talking to them. It's super, super sad. And not only just committing suicide, but talking about hurting the other parent because they can't take the abuse that their kids are going through at that home whenever they were the opposite, was the abuser, and they're now not being able to protect them or see them. So it's a crazy world, but everybody can help. Like I said, talk to your local state legislators if you want to help monetary. This stuff is not cheap at all. Everything that I did was out of my pocket. To go to Austin, gas, everything like that. I'm very fortunate that I was able to have credit cards or whatever else. But if there's other advocates out there that are helping in your state and you want to help them, that would be a good way to do it. Whether it was to pay their gas to go, their dinner to go, because that stuff adds up pretty quick.
Yes, it does, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Again, I'm going to spitball here. I do things, and you can, I don't want to answer. I know you're already out of the system. I can already see the look, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to do something off the wall. I don't know what it is. But you're out of the system. This doesn't impact it. we're both parents, so I know that like the things I do for my kids. Um, Anything you want to tell your kids?
I mean, everything that, I wrote something in church today. Here you go. I'll read it for you.
All right.
I wrote this sitting here this morning, and it's interesting because it's actually today. So I'll just put it in there. Anyway,
There you go. Okay.
it says, "To my children, when you need help, my hand is available. When you need a hug, my arms are available. When you need to talk, my ears are available. When you need advice, my mouth is available. When you need love, my heart is available." Dad.
Wow.
I don't want to talk real quick because now it's going to just flood in. But anyway, yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah.
But I think by those words, I think I'm always available for my kids and family and anybody. And don't let anything harden you while you're going through this. Always believe that, the world is not always good, but there are good people in the world. And, don't let anything harden your heart. I got remarried. Even while I was going through this, I ended up getting married. I've been married for 8 years now.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you to my wife, Carolina Garza, and my daughter, Lana, and other kids. My family stuck through this. They never once veered to, they knew it was all false. And, just having a family support has made all the difference, and extended family too. All of our advocates out there, people that comment all the time that, while we're in these other states, we know what you're going through. 100% we know what you're going through. And we see you, we hear you, but you have to change the laws to change the system.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. Well, again, thank you for all of your hard work, and to your lovely wife and your children and everything.
I need to thank one more person, Brad Nace.
Brad Nace,
my attorney. Thank you so much for sticking with me. That's the other thing, having a good lawyer that really cares. If your lawyer doesn't care about you, drop them. My lawyer stuck through tooth and nail with all of this stuff. He took it personal. He even extended credit to where, I ran up a tab, and I'm still paying it. I'm still paying off, my attorney's fees from from 2 years ago. But if somebody cares about you and knows that you're a good person, and because he was, and here's a big thing, this is the chain reaction that one person can make a difference in you. And it didn't matter if it was him or anyone else, like in your own life. So think about this. So my lawyer, because he was able to extend credit to me and me finish out my case, I'm now able to affect 30 million Texans off of one bill because my lawyer believed in me. And I believed in him 100%. Because of that chain reaction, look at what it's done. One act of kindness. So I've had other lawyers drop out of case. Don't get me wrong. Like, it didn't last this long with Brad in the case. It lasted years and years and years. I've had several lawyers, several professionals, everything else. This lawyer's act of kindness is the one that did that chain reaction that was able to get me to a place to where I was out of court, and now I can affect 30 million Texans with a bill because of that one act of kindness.
Yeah. Brad's a good guy. Yeah, we had him on a couple months ago. Did a cool intro video for him too. But great guy. I don't remember his website. Brad Nace. It's like MT or NT. God, I wasn't ready to.
NaceMotley.com.
Yeah, it was at NaceMotley.com. So yeah, if folks, I think especially in like the Tarrant County, Texas area, and I don't know what areas he practices in or what areas he kind of runs in, but if you get a chance, go out to that website, check him out, get a consultation with him, and see. I mean, the guy, just from my talking to him, he definitely has the heart for it. He knows what the system is, and he doesn't take any crap from what I.
But I can tell you right now, I'll tell you right now, so you don't have to waste a phone call. He will not extend credit right now, just because. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, he cares about every case, but right now he has such a huge caseload. I talk to him all the time. I go eat with him all the time. He's one of my best friends now. He's really not taking a lot of new cases, and you can try it, but I'm just telling you, he's very expensive, and he's not doing credit now because what we went through. It took a toll on him. I mean, by the end of it, we were best friends, but we were in this fight together, and that's the type of lawyer that you need. You need to find a lawyer that will do that for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And there, unfortunately, are only a few of those lawyers that are out there that are willing to go that extra mile. So he obviously believed in you, and worked with you. But yeah, knowing Brad, just in the conversation I had with him, he definitely has a heart for this. He knows what the system is, and he's gonna fight and do the right thing, and he knows the system too. That's another good thing. He's not some paper pusher, and he's going to get you to the end game as quickly as he can with the tools that are out there. So maybe I should retract my go to his website because it sounds like he's super busy. And that's one of the other things he's super busy.
You should try it. You never know. I'm not going to tell anybody no, but if you don't get a quick response or something like that, he's very busy. He does not do law in any other state but Texas, so that'll stop a lot of the phone calls there too. You need someone that represents you in your own state. And if not, you need someone that pro hoc vice in, but you're going to have to hire a local attorney to have another attorney from another state come in.
Right.
I know too much about law, which is sad.
Yeah, you've learned. You want to get back to concentrating on cars and making cool cars. Actually, before I end her out, your website, Mr. Old Guy,
MrOldCar.com.
Oldcar.com.
And let me explain the name on that one. So it's MrOldCar.com. So when I was going through this, I had a classic car museum, and I had to get a lot of the classic cars. So I was like, everything was taken, so I was like, I'll just throw up MrOldCar.com, get rid of my cars, and that'd be it. So when I was getting rid of them, everybody was like, hey, I like your car, I want to buy yours, but I want to sell mine. I have to sell mine first. And I'm like, I can come out, take pictures, video, whoever sells first, and whatever. Before I knew it, all my cars were gone, and I had everybody else's cars, and then I would do so well of a job at selling their cars that they would tell 2 or 3 of their buddies, and then I don't advertise. Everyone, it's just all referrals, and I can get people's cars sold very fast. And then now it's moved to high end and exotics and Bentleys, Ferraris, and all kinds of stuff. So it's been interesting.
Actually, before I forget, I'm actually this close to unsubscribing because every time I see one of those Mustangs, I'm a Mustang guy. Every time I see one of those, and they're very reasonably priced, but I'm cheap, and one day I'll get one. But these things, if you haven't, go check the website out, because these things are so sharp and nice. And for the car guys and girls out there, and I guess I'm talking to the older folks, the younger ones, they can't appreciate that whole 5.0 liter crap. But when you hear a 302 firing up, and that sound, and then you see the Kragers. I mean, because a lot of this stuff will have the original stuff that we all remember when we were younger, and it just instantly takes you back to that time. And they are because you detail them out. You make sure they are in 110% ready to go state. You're not flipping them. You're making sure that they're good to go.
Correct. Yeah, they can't knock, bang, smoke, nothing like that. If it does, I walk away from them. We do all kinds of stuff. So
what if we wanted to? Because I had a '68 Mustang when I was a kid, and I paid $600 for it, and it was worth roughly $600 when I got it. But I had a Mustang, and that's pretty much what it did. Can we pay extra to get it to sound that way again, to smoke and be like a jalopy? I don't know, a little extra.
Well, I think just naturally, they're 40 years old. They'll naturally do that, but it takes a lot of work. I just taught my son how to do it, And I'm so proud of him. He just did his own Mustang. It took him 3 months to do it, him and a friend. And they cut all the metal out. I had to buy plasma cutters. They did
Sheet
the
metal.
floor pans. They did the trunk. They did the gas tank. They did everything. And
Wow.
so then they sent it back to me to do it. And I just did some finishing touches on it, whatever. But I'm so proud of my son for doing that. And then my other son my kids, even my girls have done classic cars, and even my 13-year-old will get out there and she'll put a
Turn a wrench.
face mask on and she'll sand like a door panel down and spray it, and it'll look brand new like it came out of the factory. Like, my kids can work on cars. So
That is awesome. I mean, that you've been given the opportunity to pass that down to your kids, and kind of rolling it back to the bill. This bill is going to enable other parents to be able to do that type of thing with their kids, whatever their interests or loves are. My kids don't want anything to do with the stuff I'm into, but the car stuff, I'm sure. But that's just another component of SB718 going through, is that you're doing it, and this is given 29, 30 million other Texans the ability to pass these things on to their kids and not have their kids taken away from them. That's awesome. But I just the kind of final thought there, though, for the folks out there, it's one of those I recommend going there. But man, if you love classic cars, nice, and if you're like me, the price tag of cars when you see them out there kind of get you skittish. When you go to Robert's website, you're not going to have that excuse to say, "Oh God, it's way out of price. I can't even." That we all do that sticker shock and we freak out and walk away. Not Robert's cars. His cars are priced really good. I've had a hard time not pushing the "Hey buddy, what can we do here?" Thing myself. So if I'll tell you right now, if you want a classic car, and there's some sweet rides on there, and you're thinking that you're going to go to the website and get sticker shocked and walk away, I think there are going to be a lot of pictures being taken. Guess what I just bought?
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. So I told you I sell other collectors' cars for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a collector right now that had a Mustang probably 20 years. He doesn't know the prices of them. That's not my job. My job is just to get it sold. So they give me their bottom dollar. They pay me up front my commission fee or whatever, a fee, a marketing fee.
Right.
And they give me their bottom dollar and I get it sold. I've had several cars on my website sell 2, 3, 4 times before, because I'll have investors go in and buy a car. They're like, okay, I bought it, stick it back on, sell it again, sell it again, sell it again before it ends up Canada, Dubai, wherever. So you'll see cars on there, and it doesn't matter. Like, if you see a Mustang on there for 18,000, another one for 35,000, and they look comparable, and you're like, what's the difference? That's the difference, is that the owner, that's all the owner wants for it. So
right. Oh yeah, I saw a couple Mustangs, and the price tag, I had to do a double take. Actually, I think I've texted you a time or two. Like, did you miss a zero?
yeah.
This should be a hell of a lot more than what you're listing it for, and you're like, no, and I'm like, oh. Kids college, Mustang, kids college,
I've had owners that have receipts for $40,000 worth of work on them, and they're selling it for $28,000. And I'm like, okay, that's all you want. That's your bottom dollar. We're good, and it'll sell.
Yeah. But I would say, everybody go out there and at least maybe, freeze your debit card, put it in the freezer or whatever, if you just know where you're at in life. But yeah, if you get a chance, go out to Mr. I keep saying it, Mr. Old.
Yeah, it's okay. Mr. Old Car, mroldcar.com. I do want to thank Jeff Morgan also.
Oh, yeah, the Godfather.
Yes. So there's all these people that I want to thank, but he was instrumental in coming into my case as a court watcher. I didn't know him before, never met the guy, nothing. And he came into my court case and recorded the judge, recorded opposing counsel playing games, even calling Jeff as a witness whenever he knew nothing about my case, just to get him out of the courtroom where he couldn't record. So there's a lot of games that go on in family court, but now that I'm out of the system, I think we just want to change laws, like cameras in the courtroom. That's another law. There's so many laws that that are going to be implemented now because I went through it and you're going through it, and those laws are going to change for the future where these games will not be played or tolerated in court anymore, and judges will be accountable for the stuff that they're doing if they're not by the book.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for everyone on, yeah, go to Jeff Morgan's YouTube channel and check out his stuff. Yeah, he's done a lot. He's another guy that's out of the system. He's no longer part of it. He just, again, he wants to make it better. He's doing it, well, I guess it's philanthropically. I think that's the big word I want to use, where he's wanting to make things better for the 30 million Texans out there. So, yeah, he's one of the many or the few unsung heroes that are out there doing a lot of good, and he's doing it all on his own dime, time, and you name it. It's just it's a passion. We need more of the Jeffs and the Roberts and the stuff out there, and it can be you, anyone out there. You can all do it. Just got to say you're tired of the crap and get her done.
And thank you, Ricardo and Jason and all
Oh, yeah.
the people that have commenting, and Tom and everybody else, all of the followers that follow this channel and all the other advocates. Hang in there. If you're going through this, share it with a friend. The Pissed Off Parent is an amazing resource that I don't think everybody utilizes. You have no idea of the information that you're getting from this guy that I had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to figure out, to find out. And if there was a channel like this when I was going through this thing, I would have probably not had to gone through 10 years either, because it would have been, I could see, I always thought it was just me going through it. I didn't know that it was just, it was everybody. And that, you know, if you would just talk to someone, they had filings that you could file a motion to reconsider, or, and your final order is, even though it's a temporary order, that's your final order, because there is no other orders that you have. So your temporary orders is your final order. I always thought, okay, they're going to come in and amend these or something. No, it's just what it's called. It's called a temporary order, but that's your final order, because if you don't file to change it, that's it. You're done.
Yep.
So all these things you could have found out on his channel. Just watch the videos. Watch these things. I promise you, you will get educated. I would have, oh my God, for a channel like yours, like 10 years ago, I would have been out of the system a whole lot faster if I knew the games that were being played, that there were backdoor deals, that there were, you know, other
Things.
things that were at play that all because of Title 40 funding, you know, all kinds of stuff. But it doesn't matter. We're here today. Utilize this channel and learn what's going on.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, of course, recently kind of stepped away in a number of different ways. I still have other things in the background, but I'm hoping people start. If I would, you know, I think I said on another show. It's funny, I've been out, but then I've done like daily shows almost. But if I start seeing, you know, the excitement, i.e. the views, people interested in this stuff, I will, you know, put the stuff back out there, come back larger than life, and take it to the next level. It's just getting people engaged. That's always been my big issue. So, well, hopefully this will be the video that does it.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for all your time. Thank you, Dwayne, for all your hours of unappreciative work that you put in. That people do watch it. They're worth it. I'm telling you, this guy kept me awake on my way to the Capitol. If I missed whatever, I would actually watch it in my 4 hours on my way to the Capitol when there's nobody around. I would watch it, you know, on my way. So thank you again for all your hard work.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, another episode is done. Again, reach out. Robert, you're on Facebook. I think your profile is open. So, you know, give him an attaboy. Thank Angela Paxton. Thank David Cook, the folks that are all involved with that. And then again, come September 1, it's going to be a whole new world for Texan families in a good way. in a good way.
You can come on my personal profile, click on because hopefully I tagged Angela and David Cook in it, so they'll see comments and stuff like that. So on my personal, it's open. My profile is on Facebook. So.
All right, good. All right, guys, y'all have a good one. Talk to you later.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.